Hey, welcome back, guys. This is another edition of Raw Intuition Inside Scoop, and we've got yet another very inspirational guest for you today. It is Lissa Raimondi. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Lissa Raimondi of Lissa's Raw Food Romance. And she has a very inspirational story for you that I saw her on Facebook, and I thought that this would be a perfect person to have come on the channel and share her life and health transformation. So, Lissa, welcome to the channel, and thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So, what is your story? What have raw foods done for you, and how did you come into this lifestyle?
Well, about 10 years ago, but it's been more now, maybe 11 or 12, I was working at a health food store, and this customer came in and we just started talking, and she introduced me. I think I was 23 or 24.
Okay.
She introduced me to Arnold Ehret's mucusless diet healing system.
Mm.
And I read it, and at the time I was quite, it was really extreme for me, and not very many people knew about raw food back then. It was quite, hidden. There was only like a couple books here and there if you could find them. So when I read that, it was very extreme, fruitarianism and that kind of stuff. So I took it with a grain of salt, but I was really interested in it, and I was drawn to it because of the purity and the simplicity. And so I didn't really do much with it for about another year or so, when I learned about David Wolfe, and I found a couple other ones, and Giuliano had his cookbook. It was Raw, the Uncooked Book.
Okay.
And that came out into this organic grocery store that I worked at, and it was so coveted. Everyone wanted a copy, but it was like $55. It was so expensive. So everybody wanted it because it was like this amazing thing. And so I started to learn more about the raw food diet, but it wasn't as mainstream still. I had David Wolfe's Sun Food Diet Success System, but every time that I would try to do the raw thing, it would be too high fat. There would be like tons of avocados and coconuts and nuts and seeds, and I was eating very little fruit and vegetables, which is what we're supposed to be eating, right?
Right.
So I could do it for like 3 weeks or so, maybe only a couple days, and then I would fall off, and I would think I need cooked food for some reason, because you feel like you have all these cravings, and I was feeling lethargic from the high fat and all of this stuff. So I would fall off, and then I wouldn't do it for a little while, and then I'd try other diets. And I mean, I worked in the health industry, so I was in the health food store, nutritional consulting people, and we were exposed to all kinds of pills, diets, all of that kind of stuff. So I was really in that world, and the raw food diet was still just kind of not really picking up any steam. And then in about 2007-ish, I ran into finding on the internet, because it had just started really getting, Facebook was in 2007-ish.
Yeah.
So I started to find more people back then, Marcus Rothkrantz and Fully Raw Christina, and Gingy and Storm Talaferro from the Garden Diet. I found them. So I kind of was like getting into it, but again, the 80-10-10 stuff was so extreme to me, because I was indoctrinated that we need high fats and we need all these fish oils and we need meat and all this, as long as it's organic and all of that. I was really indoctrinated to believe that. So it was really hard for me to accept the low fat thing.
Yeah.
So I, again, kept trying raw. And then in 2009, I wanted to start a Twitter channel about doing affirmations. So I think in 2009, I started Raw Food Romance on Twitter, and I was doing daily raw affirmations. And because it was my way of keeping myself raw, which was so difficult because I was eating way too much fat and not enough calories. Because when you're trying to lose weight, and I have weight yo-yos all over the place. And when you try to do this and you're doing high fat and you're trying to cut your calories, you're trying to cut your calories while eating high fat, you really can eat a lot of food.
Right.
Right. Like an avocado is like 350 calories. So whereas a giant salad, fills you up and all of that. But So I was trying to calorie cut and I was eating high fat and it just was not sustainable. So,
Okay.
and then it was 2014, I was eating the worst of my life. I'm actually pretty embarrassed about what I was eating, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because I'd given up. I just kind of like, nothing's working. I mean, stuff would work, but it was never sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
So as a long-term eating thing, and like most diets are anyways, but
Right.
I just gave up and I was eating a whole bunch of junk and I gained a whole bunch of weight. And then one day, I don't know what happened. I just woke up and I was like, I feel like crap. I need to do something. So I started thinking about, like Fully Raw Christina and the 80-10-10 thing. And I was like, well, I've never tried that. So I'm going to try it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, and it stuck and it was perfect. And
Awesome.
yeah, it was really like all of the things that I started learning about the fat and insulin stuff and why it was making me tired, it made total sense. So,
Yeah.
and I think today is day 565 or something raw. Yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, did you do this? Were there any certain health challenges that you were facing that made you want to look into raw veganism?
Yeah, well, in the beginning, it really wasn't. I mean, I was young and didn't really have anything, any issues or whatever. I did have like really, really irregular like female stuff.
Okay.
So my hormones were always out of whack.
Mm.
But and I've suffered from acne my whole adult life. So ever since 16, 18, I've had issues with it. So that was something like I didn't really use the raw to do like I wanted to eat raw mainly just for health. Like I really didn't have anything specific, but when I went raw, I noticed so many different changes that I didn't actually really completely realize were there.
Yeah.
Like oh yeah, my joints hurt every time I would do squats at the gym. So, but you just take it as part of life.
Right.
You just oh yeah, my knees hurt now, I'm getting old or whatever. But you don't really think like, oh yeah, that's an issue that I need to deal with.
Yeah.
You just take it as life. So yeah, I didn't really have anything too specific other than, yeah, like the acne, the unbalanced hormones. My metabolism was out of whack. Like I could starve myself and I wouldn't lose any weight. I could eat a ton and I'd gain a ton of weight. Like it didn't really matter what I was eating. I was just gaining weight. So there was that. And yeah, like my sleep wasn't that great. And just the average little things.
Yeah.
So nothing diagnosed, but.
Yep. I had a lot of the same issues there, and it all cleared up with more raw foods. So,
yeah.
What sort of advice would you give somebody that's maybe struggling with certain things, trying to get into more raw foods?
Like family issues or?
Yeah, any social pressures or cravings or anything like that?
Yeah, well, for the craving thing, when I first started, of course, everyone's, starts off with those because you're giving up stuff that you're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
It's culture, tradition, easy, it's tasty, it's nostalgic sometimes. Like, it's a reward, it's a celebration, a party. Like we have all of these reasons.
Yeah.
Why we justify eating these things, and we want to eat these things because they're so part of us.
Mm-hmm.
But I always think about when Twinkies were going to go away and everyone was freaking out that Twinkies were going to go away.
Yeah.
It's like if Twinkies went away and they stopped making them, people would deal with it. They would just be like, well, Twinkies don't exist, so I don't eat them anymore. So I started to think like that with food, and I started to change the way I looked at food. And I remember one day I'm a photographer during the day. Okay. So I was taking pictures of cupcakes for this cupcake company for their website. And I was moving it and I got a little bit of cupcake on my finger and I immediately was looking for a Kleenex. And I thought that was really weird because I didn't immediately, oh my God, this is so good. But I realized that to me, it's like a decoration a pretty decoration that smells like an air freshener. And then I started connecting other foods like bread looks like couch cushion foam. And cheese looks like melted plastic and stuff like that. So like I started to connect things.
Mm-hmm.
When I had cravings at the beginning, my diet the day before was 2 energy drinks, egg burritos for breakfast, And then I went to the corner store and I had fried chicken and potato wedges dipped in about half a cup of ranch dressing.
Mm.
And then I had, candy or whatever as snacks. And then I had like Italian sausage and pasta with the token vegetable, that because you feel guilty.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't eat anything like that all day, so I'd have a token vegetable for dinner. So I was like really, like it was the worst that I'd ever eaten my whole life for the last maybe 3 or 4 months before I went raw. It was really, really bad. And so when I quit and went raw, I still had a lot of, connections to all that pizza and Chinese food and all of that. And sometimes I would get an intense craving or watch a commercial or whatever, and you're like, oh, I could really use that. And you realize that the advertising is just giving you, that desire for it when you
Yeah.
don't need it. And so I would actually sit down and I'd close my eyes and I'd actually visualize myself getting the food, or like going to the food court in the mall, standing in line, looking at the menu, deciding what I want, looking at all the food, and like really let my head get the experience of having the food without spending the money, without hurting my health, without hurting the animals, without regret or guilt or anything like that. I just let my brain have that moment. So I'd get the food and then I'd sit down and then I'd really imagine eating it. And the more detailed I'd get with imagining like the taste and the flavors and the smells and the experience of eating it, I could maybe get through 4 or 5 bites and then my brain's off thinking about what I have to do later, or like you get all of these, your brain just is like, whatever, I'm done with that.
Yeah.
Because I realized when I did used to get a plate of Chinese food, it was only after like 3 or 4 bites that I would actually be satisfied. And then the rest is just monotonous eating, right? So you just have to finish it because you paid for it or whatever. But it's always the first couple bites that are like those satisfying ones. So if I imagined it, I would get over my craving. So that's a little tip that people can use. But for family things, you have to stand your ground. You have to say, this is what I'm doing, and you can't sneak stuff in front of them, or or give in or be like, yeah, I'll have this little bit of whatever. I mean, if you want to have it, then go ahead. But if you don't, then you have to say no, because if you do have a little bit, then they think next time they're like, oh, she had a little bit of that, so now I can give them more or something else. And she'll still do it because, she's not serious. But if you stand your ground and you say, no, that's not what I'm going to eat, then eventually they get the point and they realize that you're serious and they're like, okay, let's not ask her anymore. Another thing is to eat in front of family. Because a lot of people who are on a diet or raw foodies or whatever, when they go over to family events, there's nothing really to eat there.
Right.
So don't eat there. And they sit at the table, maybe have like one piece of fruit or whatever. The family, everyone gets concerned because they're like, you're not eating.
Yeah.
So you obviously don't eat any food, right? But I realized that if I take like my massive salad, like in a popcorn bowl, and I kind of overdo it, like I add lots of extra, and I'll take that whole thing over and I eat it in front of them, they don't say anything because they're like, whoa, she eats a lot more than I could ever eat.
Yeah.
So I'm just not going to bother her about it anymore because, in the beginning, I would always go over to family things and I wouldn't eat. And then they would get concerned and you're losing weight. So they're like, you're starving yourself. And it's like, no, I'm not. But so that's another tip, is to make sure that you always eat in front of them. Okay. So that they realize that you're serious. Like, you just have to take something, and you can take bigger salad and just like share it with them. Why not? So they can taste how awesome your food is and get a little extra nutrients into them too.
Exactly. I think it is important to always bring enough so other people can try it too, because that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yep.
Because then they realize that you're not just eating carrots, and
right.
Because they don't understand it, so they need to learn. Or take like the best stuff that you've ever made, like your favorite dish.
Yeah.
And they're all going to be like, wow, that's actually really good. Yeah.
This just Easter a few weeks ago, I brought like a spaghetti type. It was zucchini noodles with avocado and tomato blended up, and a few other things. And then I pretty much just had a plate of mangoes for myself. And it was funny, all the kids wanted my mangoes.
Right? Yeah.
They didn't want any of the other food that they were having. They wanted my mangoes. So, so that again goes back to showing, naturally, we are drawn towards fruit, because it tastes the best. And people,
Yeah, I photographed a little kid's birthday party a little while ago, and they had like everything known to man on the table. Like they had, like the hamburger stuff and the cakes and chips and whatever. And they had a plate of veggies, which I was one of the only ones that was eating off of it, and the plate of fruit, and all the kids were eating the fruit. And I'm like, it's so, that's our food.
Yeah.
They know better than we do because we've been conditioned through years
right.
to just eat what we're addicted to. But yeah, and if anyone ever tells me that cooked food isn't addicting, I say, have you tried giving it up?
Right.
Yeah, because and then I'll say, if cucumbers went extinct and we couldn't get cucumbers anymore, no one would really care. It would suck because cucumbers are awesome. I mean, for us especially.
Yeah.
But for the average person, they'd be like, well, it'll suck, but no big deal, whatever, I can move on. But tell them that there's going to be no bread ever, like everyone stopped making bread, people would freak out.
Yeah.
Because it's something that they're, so attached to that you can't even fathom not eating it. And that's how it's like kind of an addiction, because you can't live without it, or can't fathom. And cheese is a big one. Everyone said, I can't give up cheese. And it's like, well, because there's casomorphines in it that addict you to it. So
exactly. Those were actually my two biggest things giving up. Those are the last things I gave up, was cheese and bread.
Yeah, those are tough ones.
A lot of what you focus on is weight loss. And so what is it about raw foods that allow you to lose weight in a healthy way, as opposed to some of these other fad diets or magic potions that tell you can lose 25 pounds in a weekend or something?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is that it's kind of become like a weight loss thing, because I never did it for weight loss at all. Like that wasn't even on my radar. I woke up that one day and I was like, I feel like I'm 80 and I feel so sick and gross, and like I just didn't want to, you have no motivation and you don't care. Yeah. So I was doing it more for health, and I knew that the weight loss would be a side effect of having a healthy diet. And then I lost 70 pounds, and it's like, hey guys, guess what happened? So yeah, it has become a weight loss thing because that was the side effect of eating really, really healthy. Yeah. And I think the key, there's two things that I believe are key for the raw food diet. A is to keep it low fat, and B is to eat enough calories from fruit and vegetables, not from you're adding in your nuts and seeds to boost it. You should be adding fruit to boost your calories. Yeah. So when I was always doing it, I would feel better, mostly because I was giving up, all the junk food and stuff. Yeah. But I was eating so high fat that I wasn't on it long enough to really notice a huge weight loss. I would lose a little bit of weight, but not enough. But I wasn't on it long term, so I didn't really know. But I kept falling off because I was eating so high fat. And the high fat prevents the sugar from getting into your cell and giving you that energy. So I was always lethargic and tired, and I didn't want to work out and all that kind of stuff. So I think the low fat is a huge thing, because you can get a lot more fruit and vegetables and nutrition in when you keep your fat low. So you're eating tons of calories from fruits and vegetables, and that is the fiber helps with the weight loss, the water content helps with the weight loss. And when I was reading in Proteinaholic by Garth Davis, that if you are eating a lot of carbohydrates with low fat, your body actually burns more calories, because it's trying to use all of those carbs when it's low fat. Okay. So yeah, and then the fat actually is stored instantly as fat. So any excess fat is stored as fat. So it's like, well, why not just stick to the 5 to 15% fat or whatever? Yep. Yeah, if I do have an avocado, it's really, really rare. Yeah. And if I do, it's typically with dinner with my greens to absorb the vitamin K and stuff. But I'll do fat-free for breakfast and lunch, mono meals or fruit meals or whatever, and so I can have my avocado in the evening, and it puts me to sleep, but whatever. Yeah. Yeah, so I think that eating the calories is so important, because we need that.
Mm-hmm.
when I used to calorie restrict, I would be calorie restricting on like a high protein, like a low carb kind of a diet.
Yeah.
And I'd have to calorie restrict it. I would have no energy to actually work out. I remember my trainer actually sent me home because I had no energy. I couldn't do anything.
Wow.
So yeah, she sent me home and I was like, I was eating like protein. Like I couldn't figure out why, but it's just unsustainable. And those other diets are all unsustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't cut your calories to 1400, and then lose the weight and then eat normal again because you're just going to gain the weight back because the reason you lost the weight was cutting calories.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to stay there, you got to keep the calories cut.
Yeah.
And it's just not sustainable because we need those energy and the nutrition. So I always say in all of my videos, if you cut your you cut your calories, you cut your nutrition.
Yeah.
So you don't want to do that. You want to, if you need to get into a calorie deficit, add exercise.
Mm-hmm.
So, so you're not compromising your nutrition because that's your fuel basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, those other diets are all unsustainable. They're just not, they don't work long term. You can't just do it, low carb or keto forever.
Mm-mm.
Right? If you can't do it forever, then it's not a sustainable thing and you shouldn't be doing it for weight loss. But because this raw food is completely sustainable, like you can eat, if you're working out, like 3,000 calories, 3,500 calories, and you can do that and still stay lean, then it's sustainable.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, and isn't that funny? It's like so against what everybody believes. People think that they need to eat less to lose weight when, you're showing and so many other raw vegans and even vegans are showing, cooked food vegans are showing that you can eat more food as long as it's the right food that's designed for our bodies.
Right, exactly.
And then your body will use it'll use that food to create the healthiest body that, it was designed to create.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
and I think the reason why we have this calorie cutting mindset
mm-hmm.
is because fat and protein is so high in calories.
Yeah.
That you have to cut it down, and it's not acting the same way in your body as high fiber foods are.
Right.
And it's funny to me that everybody's crazy about the protein thing because the RDA is already set too high.
Yeah.
According to Garth Davis, he's like, it was set at the absolute highest. So for girls, it's like 46 grams, and I easily get that every day, like so easy. And yet most people are eating double or triple that, and then they still think they need more protein.
Right, so they add a protein powder, right?
Yeah, and then they're adding powders and all this, and they're trying to lose weight by adding more protein when we should be, decreasing it and adding fiber.
Yeah.
So if, all of the population is exceeding their protein goals, only 3% are actually hitting their RDA for fiber a day. Only 3% of the entire population is hitting their daily fiber, which is only 31 grams, which is so pitiful.
Everybody's so
Because, on average day, I'm getting 90.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's sad. We should be worried about fiber, not protein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. It's
97% of people aren't getting enough.
It's a shame that they don't talk about that more. And
it's because fiber's boring.
Yeah, if they do talk about it, it's take a fiber supplement.
Right,
so
yeah.
The incorrect diet that's deficient in fiber, but make up for it with a supplement that doesn't act the same way as natural whole fruits and vegetables.
Right, exactly. And it doesn't have the synergistic water content, which is actually something I really promote is the high hydration.
Mm-hmm.
Because my cellulite's gone, my acne's gone, like my skin's softer, and it wasn't adding fish oils and fats. It was adding the hydration from raw that really, really helped with all of those things. Mm-hmm. So I'm always like, is it going to dehydrate you or is it going to hydrate you? So if the fruits are going to hydrate you, that's why I don't eat fully dehydrated stuff.
Okay.
So like I don't do like the flax crackers and the, I might, like I'm going to be working on some wraps, but they're not going to be like totally dry. Like I won't do anything that's like crunchy dry because it's completely void of water. So your body actually has to steal water from your colon and your cells to actually digest that food. And all cooked food is dehydrating. Mm-hmm. So when you cook potatoes, they go from, I think, 65% water down to 30% water, especially even lower if you bake them. Yeah. So, yeah, steamed veggies, all of that. People think that because they're doing it in the water, that they're still high in water content, but they're not because they're actually lower. That's why they, taste better in a way because there's more flavor, there's less water.
Yeah,
So
they're more condensed, right?
more condensed, yeah. So they taste different when you cook them, but they are lower in water than what nature gave us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like nature knows how much water to have in, a tomato or whatever. But I mean, I do like small things like sun-dried tomatoes and stuff, but they're still moist a little bit. Dates too.
Yep.
So it's not, again, I'm also not a purist.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't freak out over like garlic or onions or spices. So
Yeah,
I think as long as it keeps you raw, go for it.
right.
So
Yeah.
I'd rather stay raw and have, a little bit of garlic here and there than to deprive myself because I can go that way. I could become an extremist and I can't do that because I know I'd fall off
Mm-hmm.
easily.
It was kind of like that in the first couple of years that I was doing this. I was way more strict than I am now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still pretty strict, compared to most people. But um, I think it's important. Like you said, if it's going to keep you raw,
Mm-hmm.
keep you on your healthy lifestyle, if you have to add in a few, dates or, well, I love dates, but like dehydrated things,
Yeah, me too.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't say dates are something that you need to limit, but some
Yeah.
people would. It depends, I guess.
I think the biggest one is garlic. I
Yeah,
keep getting that one, and it's like, well, my thoughts on it are, if it bothers you, don't eat it,
right,
right?
exactly.
And if you want to be a purist, that's cool.
Yeah,
I just don't think that, like, especially working with so many people who are coming from standard American,
yeah,
you can't tell them don't have garlic because they're just not going to be able to get there.
yeah, yeah,
So you have to kind of like be like, yeah, if it starts to bother you or if it hurts your tummy, don't eat it. Like,
yep.
it's simple, right? So yeah, I need my garlic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what about other when you're working with somebody, what do you find to be like the most common obstacles that people
Uh,
face?
Probably not eating enough.
Oh, yeah.
They don't realize how much you need to eat.
Okay.
They basically like will if we're talking or whatever, I'll ask them for their daily, like what they had for the day, and then we'll enter it into Chronometer or whatever, and it's like 800 calories, and you're like, dude,
Yeah.
no wonder you're hungry. And a lot of people will say hunger is a huge thing, like they're always hungry, they're always hungry. And it's like, well, then eat, because when we were wild animals, like just out doing whatever,
Yep.
we hung out with our families. We basically ate all day. Every time we'd find leaves or berries or fruit or whatever, we just ate it, and we ate whenever we wanted to.
Yeah.
It's a product of modern society that we need to feel full for like 5 hours
Mm-hmm.
because of work or whatever. Like, that's modern society. That's not our natural way.
Right.
We need to eat whenever we feel hungry because your body is just like, hey, I need energy. Give me some fruit. That's really all it asks for. So we just say snack on more bananas, get the bananas in.
Yeah.
Bananas and mangoes and pineapple, like get those high calorie fruits in to sustain you until your next meal, and then you should be able to be okay. And it'll also help with cravings, because if you're starving in the morning and afternoon, you're gonna need your pizza at night, right? So
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think that's when most cravings come in is,
mm-hmm.
when people they're not eating enough and they don't have the correct things in their house. If they don't,
Right.
if they have junk food in the house, they're going to be drawn to that if they start to get
Exactly.
hungry.
Exactly.
And so I like to tell people just to get rid of all the junk food. Don't even let that temptation be there, because
Yeah.
when you get into the situation where you're getting like really hungry, you're gonna, even if you have some fruit in the fridge, you're gonna go to that,
Oh
whatever
yeah.
chips or anything like that that are
Oh
available
yeah.
to you. So
Yeah, it's really, yeah, that's a big one too, is you shouldn't have anything in the house that you're not willing to eat.
yeah,
And you should always decide that when you're full, or like, when you've had a really good raw meal and you're feeling motivated,
yeah,
then you go and be like, I'll never eat this, I'll never eat this, I'll never eat this, and then
yeah,
get rid of it. So you don't have it there to tempt you.
yeah, right.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yep. All
Uh,
right. So just in a summary, what are the main benefits that you have personally seen that you use to motivate other people to live this sort of lifestyle, or to even just attempt, learning about it?
Hmm. I think that it's like I found that okay, the weight loss is huge.
Okay.
So I just post a picture of my weight loss, and I get a ton of people asking, how to do this, because it's visual. People want to see the
Right.
difference.
Yeah.
Like you can tell them my sleep improved, my joints improved, blah 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 blah, right? But they can't quantify it. They're like, oh well, how much has your sleep improved? Or they don't have issues in that area. I think the majority of people, the weight
Yeah.
and the skin improvement, and like, because everyone says I look younger, so there's that too, and they're like looking at my before pictures, and they're like, oh man, you like, lost 10 years or whatever they say.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that is definitely, those posts always get the most attention.
Okay.
And I get the most questions from them or whatever. And it's actually my most viewed videos on YouTube are my weight loss videos. So okay. That is the main thing that draws people over here.
Yeah.
And that's great if they want to do it for weight loss, because once they start doing it, they'll start to realize the other benefits that are coming along with it. And then it gets really intense because they're like, wow, I feel good, and all of this stuff. And then they start learning about the compassionate side, the ethical side, the whole vegan thing, and then they start to feel more connected and more creative and more compassionate and all of that kind of stuff, and they realize how great, it's just even better. So that it kind of helps to motivate to stay on the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because there's all of that. Like I always tell people, to get your reasons. And I have 4 reasons for doing this. And I've always told myself every single morning when I get up, I tell myself these things. I do it for the animals. I do it for the planet. I do it for my health. And I do it for my fans. So I find that having a YouTube channel and having like the online presence is very motivating. Because when it's like, when I'm really stressed out or want like to go back to my old ways or whatever, I just think, I can't let my 10,000 fans down, because, I know that if I fall off, I will disappear off the internet. So, and it's not that I don't want to say that I'll never eat cooked food again, because you can never say never. Right. But to me, like, it doesn't matter if people eat cooked vegan, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Because if they feel okay doing it, that's fine. If they feel better doing raw, then they should do raw. Yeah. I feel better doing raw, but I believe that stuff like potatoes and rice, beans, and all of those cooked vegan foods are survival foods. They're meant to be eaten in times of famine. Like potatoes are meant to be eaten over the winter, right? Yeah. But we don't have a time of famine. We never do. We basically live in abundance all year long. Yeah. We don't have maybe the greatest variety in the winter, but we can still get kale, and we can still get romaine, tomatoes, and fruit. Yep. So there's no reason why I need to eat potatoes, because I have other options. I have raw options, so I'll always choose the raw thing. Yep. However, if for some reason there is no produce ever, then I'll have potatoes and rice. But like I said, never say never. But yeah, if people want to get motivated, it's really the weight loss. It's, all my story. Like I have a lot of stuff on YouTube about how my sleep improved and my hormones improved, my metabolism, my circulation. Like I'm not cold eating raw. A lot of people use the whole Chinese medicine thing where raw.
That too.
Yeah, and it's like, but I'm warmer now right. than I was when I ate cooked food. Yeah. And I think it's because I eat so much that my body is a constant furnace, and it just keeps burning, and it's working perfectly now. Yeah. I mean, it did take months to get there, like to heal up that. But before, because I was calorie restricting, even though I was eating cooked food, my body was like, okay, I've only had like 1,200 calories today, so I'm just going to shut down for a little bit here. You might feel cold for all day. So I think it's eating so much that actually stimulates your metabolism to run at a higher rate. So, sure. That can help people too a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
And are you into like weight training or any sort of thing like that? Do you find that helps with that?
I want to be.
Okay.
I'm so lazy. I'm like the laziest person. I don't think, okay, I did do exercise. Everyone always asks me this because they're
Okay.
like, you look amazing. What do you do for exercise? And I'm like, not a lot, really. I basically sit at my computer all day and reply to people on Facebook and work on my photos. So I really don't have a lot of time to get out there. And I know I need to do that more, not because I don't need to lose weight, obviously. And I will be eating more when I do
Uh-huh.
work out. Like I'll have like a 5 banana smoothie before I go for a run or something like that. But
Sure.
I need to do it for health reasons. Like, just not that I have any, but I want to, like, it improves your circulation, improves your mood, it lowers your stress. It's, I think there's so many reasons why we should be, and it tones you up, makes you stronger, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Lately I have been doing light weights and stuff like that while I'm watching TV at night. So that kind of helps me to get into a little bit of a routine. I'll go through a couple weeks where I do it every night and then I don't do it for a while. So I'm not really like, I'm not the best person for the exercise thing. I'm trying really hard to get on that,
Yeah.
to tone up, because a lot of people, when they lose a lot of weight, I don't have a lot of loose skin,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have a lot of muscle tone. So I think the more muscle you have, it does tighten your skin a little bit underneath.
Yep.
So if people are losing weight, it is actually really smart to do weight training,
Sure.
so that your muscles are tighter when you lose the weight. So you're not, and losing weight slow is huge.
Yeah.
Because people are all, like you said, like lose 25 pounds in a week or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you did that, you would be like, well, my skin is like hanging off of me because it's too fast.
Right.
Yeah, I lost weight pretty slow. I was averaging approximately 1 pound a week.
Okay.
So it was really, really, really slow. Some weeks I'd lose 2 or 3, and then other weeks, I think I went like 2 months without losing any weight, halfway through. And then all of a sudden my body released a whole bunch. So it was just really interesting how the body was deciding on its own.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't actually pushing it to lose the weight. It just kind of did it on its own.
Yeah.
Just what I was eating.
Yeah. And again, I think that's so important to realize too, is that the body knows what it needs to do. Everybody is so obsessed with these like wraps that they wrap around midsection or a surgery to cut it off. Like they want to be the one that tells the body how to lose the weight.
Right.
Instead of letting the body do what it has to do on its own.
Yeah.
They just get in the way and it causes problems in the long run. So
yeah, exactly. And it's not a quick fix. I mean, we go 30 years eating, hot dogs and chips and all of that kind of stuff, and we expect our bodies to bounce back from 30 years of putting that in a couple weeks. It's not going to happen. It takes patience, consistency, positive affirmations, time. It takes all of that to succeed at doing this, because you have to give your body time to do what it needs to do. Yeah. Yeah, otherwise you're just going to be, you're going to get impatient because you're like, how come I haven't lost any weight yet? And it's like, well, maybe your body's healing something else first, and then you'll start with the weight. So, yeah, we just don't know. We don't know. We just need to keep going eating this way to get those results. But it does take time. It's like 1.5 years now, and I'm still noticing stuff.
Really?
Changing. Yeah, like just slight little things, but you realize like your sleep is getting a little bit better, or or you have zero cravings. Like I don't think I've had cravings for a really long time, unless I get really stressed out. Then I'll sometimes get nostalgic, but I know it's completely a nostalgia thing, or a comfort thing. You're trying to hide behind it. You're trying to like numb your pain. Exactly. But otherwise, like little things you notice still, even after, I've heard raw foodies who are like 5 to 10 years still noticing improvements. Right. But we go 30 years eating bad food. So.
Yep, exactly. People want the quick fix, and it's just about education and understanding that it takes time for the body to heal itself, and that letting the body heal itself is really the best way to go.
Yeah, because you'll be happier at the end.
Right.
When you get to your goal, you're going to be like, I am so proud of myself for sticking to it, for all that, because now I finally have that goal that I've been searching for forever. Mm-hmm. And I actually... when summer comes and everyone's like, oh, I need to tone up and like get good for summer or whatever, because we've had some really, really nice summery type days the last couple days, and today is like really nice. It's kind of like I want to go like wear shorts out or whatever. And I remember for the last however long, I would always be, oh, I gotta get on this workout routine, or I gotta tone up or lose some weight or whatever. I am completely free from that mindset.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of cool because it's like I can just go outside and I don't have to worry about my, how my body looks. And not that we should, because we should all love ourselves and everything, but we do feel uncomfortable. And if you feel uncomfortable, you're going to have those thoughts like I need to, feel comfortable in my body. And I actually finally feel comfortable. And I don't even think about it anymore. It's kind of like New Year's resolution. Like on New Year's, I was like, I guess I need a different resolution now, because you don't have to worry about it. And it's so much more freeing than eating that food and then trying to lose weight, and then eating that food because you want it and then losing weight. And everyone says the whole, but don't you enjoy your life? Like, don't you enjoy life? And it's like, I enjoy life way more now than I ever did eating chips.
Same here.
Yeah.
and it's funny, the weight loss thing, people, I see so many times where people are eating the unnatural foods, but they're trying to exercise their weight off. And I think that, I think your example and people like you and myself too, I lost 40 pounds without exercising.
Yeah. And the exercise, I think, is just to, keep your body moving and tone up and have the circulation and the stress reducing. Yeah. It's not like to keep you thin, because the diet is supposed to keep you thin. Yeah. Exercise is like that bonus of energy and fun and activity, right? It's not meant to be a weight loss tool.
Right.
So and the whole exercise thing, I was gonna say something. Totally lost my train of thought. Okay, go ahead. I remember what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I just think that's such a powerful talking point for people that are so obsessed with exercising their weight off, and even just being happy with their bodies. When you eat this way, you don't have to put yourself through exercising that you don't want to do. Right. Not saying, like you said, that you shouldn't exercise, because exercise is definitely important. Yeah. But it doesn't have to be like strenuous, like pump and iron. It can just be like walking or just everyday activities. Just get out and be active.
Yeah, yoga, stretching.
It doesn't have to be going to a gym that people are, so...
I mean, unless you want to, right?
Yeah, definitely do it if you want to. But it's not something
that's... what I was going to say. When I was doing a low carb thing, I thought I was like being super clean, like, because I wasn't eating anything processed. I wasn't eating any grains. I was basically doing really high protein breakfast, lunch, and then dinner had my veggies or whatever. Sometimes I'd have veggies for lunch too. But I thought I was being really, really, really super clean according to, the low carb people. Yeah. And I did lose weight on that. I did it for about 2 months straight. And I did lose weight on that, but it was because I was in the gym for 2 hours a day. Wow. I was working out. Yeah. I would do a 1 hour incline walk, and then I would do weights for an hour. Okay. So, and I think and plus I was calorie restricting. So I was down around the 1,500 calorie mark. And I felt like it was the biggest struggle of my life to lose this weight. And I was putting in so much effort, and it just was and it was unsustainable too, because I had all these cravings. I wanted to eat everything under the sun because I was starving myself. And when it came to the end, that was actually the point where I started eating like I didn't care, because I was like, if it's this hard to lose weight, right, why should I even bother? So after I finished that 2 months, I just binged on chips. I ate chips, and then we were eating pizza, and I was back on energy drinks, and I was like, I basically ate whatever, and I didn't care. Yeah. And I gained like 60 pounds or something like that, or not 60, well, it was like 40 pounds or whatever, because I think I lost about 20, 25, but it was kind of like a struggle. It was like, if I don't stay on this, it's just going to come back, and it did, because it's unsustainable. But yeah, it's like I had this mindset that I had to exercise like 2 or 3 hours a day just to get a couple pounds off. When
Yeah.
now it's like, exercise, I should be doing it because it's healthy, but I don't.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so
Cool. So, how long did it take overall for, I mean, I don't know if you were keeping track, like to lose the 70 pounds?
I
Was it
think it was 14 months.
okay?
Yeah, that's where I kind of was like, I got to the point where I had a goal weight of 130 pounds, and I think I hit that almost at the 1 year mark.
Okay.
So it was maybe 11 months ish
Mm-hmm.
to get to 130. But right now I'm 117.
Yeah.
So I did lose, like, from my goal weight, I did lose a little bit extra. And then I got to the point where I wasn't too skinny, but I was quite small, and I didn't want to actually keep losing any more weight.
Yeah.
So I actually started increasing my calories. So while I was losing weight, I was eating between 2,100 and 2,300 calories a day.
Okay.
And now I eat around 2,400 to 2,700 and a little extra if I am working out. And that's another thing that people, the whole calorie thing,
Mm-hmm.
there are a lot of people, okay, I am totally pro eating lots of calories. So
Okay.
you eat as lots of calories, but if you're like 5'2" and you're like this little itty bitty tiny girl and you're trying to eat 3,000 calories because someone says that's how much you should eat,
Yeah.
you're going to gain weight. Like, I mean, yes, it's fruit and vegetables, but you're going way over your caloric needs.
Yeah.
So yeah, you kind of need to adjust for your own body. And if you feel you need to eat 3,000, then go for it. If you're hungry enough to eat 3,500, go for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not I'm not pro calorie stuffing, but I'm not pro calorie restricting. I'm like, find your center balance where you're getting all your nutrition,
Yeah.
and you're getting all your energy, and you're not tired, and everything's good. That's where you know where your calorie balance is. And I found mine to be 21 to 2,300, and then now it's 24 to 2,700. So
Cool.
yeah, you just have to kind of play around with it and think,
Yeah.
if you're hungry, eat. It's
Yeah.
no big deal. You can eat.
Exactly. Again, it
Yeah.
goes back to listening to the body, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to have
Yeah.
different, especially if your metabolism sucks.
Uh-huh.
You're not going to be able to eat 3,500 calories, right?
Right.
So like start slow, let your
Yeah.
body heal, and then, yeah, just testing it out and seeing how much you need to actually eat
Yeah.
is huge, because people are, I got to eat 4,000 calories, because it's not a competition about who can eat more calories.
Right.
It's you finding for yourself how much you need.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're losing a pound a week, that's perfect. And then when you get to your goal weight, just increase your calories so that you don't keep losing weight.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. So you have a couple books that are for sale, right? That you wrote?
Yes, I do. I have 52 to a New You,
Okay.
which I wrote. Actually, I had the idea on New Year's Eve, and I wrote it all really quick, and I had it released like Jan 2nd or something.
Wow.
So yeah, I was like, I need to release this. It was basically 52 weeks or days, or you could do it all at once like I did.
Okay.
It's basically everything that I did, but split up into 52 steps so that you could do it over a year if you need to. A lot of people are like, some people need a week to get off meat, or they need there's a couple in there that are like giving up coffee,
Mm-hmm.
giving up alcohol and stuff. And some people need a little bit of time to get through those, especially really big addictions. And if you're giving up something, you're exposing yourself emotionally because you don't have that food to hide behind
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
So some people release a lot of emotions, and that's typical on a raw diet because
Yeah.
you're giving up all of these things that protect you
Exactly.
from emotions.
Yep.
So you will start to release a lot of emotions, and you should talk to people or whatever to get through that. But yeah, I did it in 52 weeks because that's kind of like, you can go through a year and you're changing slowly, but people can do it overnight. They can read the whole thing and do it overnight like I did.
Sure.
So I'm extreme. I'm like, that's it, no more. And then I never thought about it again. But yeah, so that one is only available in ebook version.
Okay.
I might get it in a print version because I've had some people ask, but it's only $5 as an ebook, so you can just whatever from my PayHip store or my e-store. And then I have a 30-day meal plan, which is my big book that I have. It's printable. It's on Amazon, so you can get that. It's Raw Food Romance 30-day meal plan, and it's 90 recipes. And it's basically fruit in the morning. This is my motto: fruit in the morning, veggies at night, make a girl happy, healthy, and light.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah. So I basically eat fruit in the morning and veggies at night. like fruit in the morning and as snacks throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have like a fruiting vegetable salad, so like tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers and stuff for lunch.
Yeah.
And then my heavy greens for dinner with my fats.
Cool.
So I kind of laid it out a little bit like that because it's basically what I eat.
Mm-hmm.
I just made it a recipe book.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can use it as a recipe book or a meal plan because I have shopping lists for every day in there. So you can combine a couple days if you're going to go out for a couple days. There's calorie content at the bottom, so you can adjust it based on your needs.
Okay.
And then eat all of the meal. Like, it's basically for one person. You open the book and you buy the veggies and you make the food, and then, yeah. And I've already had a lot of people messaging me. They're like, I'm down 10 pounds already after a week and a half or whatever. Like, you know, they're giving up the salt and the sugar and everything up. They're going to lose the water weight really fast first.
Right.
So there's that. But yeah, it's a really cool, I'm actually in the process of writing part 2, which is going to have more like, because I plan on releasing that one in September.
Okay.
So there'll be more soups, stews for the next winter.
Awesome.
Yeah, like raw soups, raw stews,
Mm-hmm.
maybe some dehydrated wraps. Yeah, a lot more dressings because I have some ideas for that. I have a sweet onion curry dressing that's going to be in there. My new Italian dressing is going to be in there. It's really good. So I'm excited for that. And I'm also writing my journey book, which will be basically, I'm calling it Lissa's Raw Food Romance, the first year, the courtship. So raw food romance.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be basically my journaling for the first year.
Okay.
So basically, day by day, I'll be like, May 3rd, I went out with my parents to this restaurant, and I didn't know what to order. So I'm gonna go through all the struggles that I went through, and what I did, and people can relate to certain things that I did. So it'll be more like a journal style for people to read my struggles or achievements and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
That is, I think that's what people need to see too. It's just
and there's going to be a lot of psychological stuff in there too, like working with your mind, dealing with like cooking for family, like because I cook for my husband, so it's, you know, like working on disconnecting yourself from that old food that you're not eating anymore. I'm going to talk a lot about that, and that's why a lot of people like my YouTube channel, because I do talk a lot about the psychological stuff.
Yeah.
Addictions and cravings and things like that. So that'll be in that book too.
Okay.
It'll be more of a challenge, struggles, achievements book. Yeah.
Awesome. What you have a YouTube channel too?
Yeah, it's Raw Food Romance, or Lissa's Raw Food Romance.
Okay.
On YouTube, I've got like 150 or 160 videos up there.
Awesome.
Lots of stuff. I do what I ate in a day videos.
Okay.
And I always add the chronometer at the end. So it's like, you reach 98% of your nutrition. And I'm like, see, you can eat this way and get all of your nutrition. So it's all good. And yeah, my Facebook is Lissa's Raw Food Romance as well. And I have Instagram, Raw Food Romance, and Twitter. And I'm actually also on YouFood. I don't post there very often. Right now, I need to get back on posting there. But it's I have like 6 months worth of meals on there.
Oh, okay.
Go and check out and see what I eat in a day, kind of.
Okay.
I think ideas or whatever. But yeah, I'm over there too at Raw Food Romance.
Awesome. And your website is?
It's rawfoodromance.com.
Okay.
I am going to be working on changing it a little bit. So I'm going to add recipes to that and other stuff. So that'll be cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, lots of stuff going on over here.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. I will put a link to all your resources down below so you guys can go check out Lissa's awesome ebooks and hard copy books and all the other resources that she's putting out. Is there any last words you want to provide anybody with today's video?
All I would say is, like, don't give up. It's possible. If I can do it, you can do it.
Sure.
And I don't want to say that it is for everybody, because everyone's going to have their struggles. But I think that this is the most natural diet for the human body. So I do believe it is for everybody. I think that we just have strayed so far from our natural diet that we just, when we move over to it, we have so many health issues or blockages in the body that we just can't. For example, vitamin K. A lot of people can't convert vitamin K, and I think it's because of a lifetime of eating wrong.
Yeah.
It could be genetic, but I think that if you go a long period of time where you're not eating properly, your body, or you're on antibiotics and you've ruined your gut bacteria, something like that, you can't convert the vitamin K anymore. But with time, I do believe that you will be able to get back to that natural, converting the vitamin K from your greens, just like cows do, just like, like there's all those people who say that we need to get certain nutrients from butter and milk and all that kind of stuff. But the cows actually get it from the grass, like they make it. So, and we are able to make that kind of stuff too. Like, for example, B12 is a huge one.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's not a diet vitamin at all. We're not supposed to be getting it from our diet. We're supposed to be getting it from our environment.
Exactly.
It's in the wild earth, it's in the streams, and actually deficient vegans who are deficient in B12 actually still produce B12. In their stool samples, they have B12 in there. It's just because it's produced so low in their colon that they don't absorb it anymore.
Sure.
And I think that's because, maybe they were on a round of antibiotics a long time ago and it killed their, the upper bacteria.
Yeah.
Right? So they weren't able to absorb it anymore.
Yeah.
And if they start, if they can get the bacteria back up at the top, they'll start absorbing it again. But it's basically, I think that the reason why a lot of people can't or might not be able to do a raw thing might be because their bodies have been so damaged over the years that it is difficult to adopt that lifestyle. But I personally believe that even adding more raw food to your diet is so beneficial. Cutting back on the animal products and including more raw is just, it's going to lighten you up. It's going to free you up. And I would just say time, patience, consistency, and positive affirmations, going through your reasons every day why you're doing this, and making a plan every day of what you're going to eat throughout the day so you're not caught off guard. You're not, or plan, I need to go to the store to buy certain things because I want to make this. Just to plan it for the day so you're not, oh, let's go for lunch or something, and you forget that you're doing it, because you have to remind yourself every day until you get into that, like that solid state where you're like, this is my lifestyle.
Built those solid habits, right?
Yeah, they do. It does take a while. I think it takes 28 days to make a habit, but it takes 3 months to solidify it.
Okay.
So that it's actually like, this is how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can fall off really easily. I mean, it's really hard in this world.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah, we just have to stand our ground and we have to keep going and then, tweak your diet as you go and just work with yourself. Yeah, listen to your body. But if it's telling you to eat something in moderation that is not good for you, don't eat it.
Right. Yeah. Well, that is perfect advice. I completely agree with everything you just said there. So thank you very much for joining us. I hope you're able to get out and, reach so many people. I mean, I know you already are, but I think you're going to be making a lot of people change their lives. So
awesome. That's my goal.
Yeah.
More raw food, more veggies.
Exactly. All right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much again. And guys, go check out Lissa's resources. We will catch you in the next video.
Awesome.
All right.
Detoxify your mind and body. Be the change you want to see. Small steps towards living better. Small steps to where I want to be.